stepdad, there was like this whole big craziness around it.
Yep.
And my dad didn't want them to like have a good wedding and like wanted to kind of like sabotage the things and made me feel bad for like even attending, and was like, whenever they say, if anyone objects to this wedding, like you have to stand up and be like, I object, and go against it. And so like I'm going to this wedding and
wait, so let me get straight. So your mother was getting remarried. Your father said when they ask if anybody objects, he instructed you to object your own mother's marriage.
Yes.
And you're how old?
I was seven. And
Bro,
so
what the fuck?
And he was like, yeah, I'm going to be like super, maybe I was 8, but I'm going to be super disappointed if you don't do this, da da da. And to me, like, I had kind of buried this moment, kind of like forgot about it, whatever, like moved on or whatever. So this was like the worst day of my life going to this wedding, right? And it should be amazing. Like I should be celebrating my mom doing this, but like I'm just like, nah, like screw this, because my dad indoctrinated me to like hate this man that I shouldn't have hated for any reason, and to object to this wedding. Otherwise he's going to be disappointed in me, and I feel like I'm going to let him down if I'm even at this wedding. So this is like the worst day of my life, right? And my mom's kind of just like fed up with it because it's her fucking wedding day. So she, lo and behold, gives me like a whole like glass of beer and is like, just drink this. So I'm 7, 8 years old, drink, and she's like, yo, take this. Boom. And all of a sudden, I'm drunk as fuck, having the best time of my life. I forget about all the things my dads are saying. Like, I'm not worried. All the stress goes away. All of a sudden, I'm on the dance floor doing headstands. And I'm like...
She gave it to you because she saw that you were anxious?
Well, because I was crying. I was ruining the energy of the whole wedding. I was ruining the energy of the whole wedding. Like, even if I'll put a picture on the screen, like you could just tell in this picture, like I'm just like crying and like pissed off. And it was like during the photos that I was like supposed to take with my mom, with the professional photographer, whatever. And this isn't I'm also not telling this story to like, for people to be like, oh, screw Greg and screw Pam and screw this whole thing, and that's crazy, and what did they do? And I'm not trying to be like a victim either. I think that's a big thing with this work, is a lot of people can fall victim to these things that they bring up and uncover, and then like feel bad for themselves and then get like lost in that whole loophole. No, this is just to like understand and uncover, and it's no fault of their own, because, by the way, my parents, both mom and dad, are highly traumatized people and grew up with crazy fucking parents as well. That's right. They're just doing what they know. They're being controlling and manipulative because they were controlled and manipulated by their parents. And it's this never-ending cycle until someone in the family is like, let's end this shit.
That's right.
And let's figure this out. And this isn't normal for all of these things to happen. So, worst day of my life. What was the answer? Alcohol. That fixed it. So like neurologically in my young and developing brain and bodily functions and all of these things, of course, later in life, when things start going wrong in my life and I'm having hard times, I'm going to naturally want to pick up alcohol to fix the problem. And this was something that we uncovered.
Yeah, a lot.
Amongst many other things, but yeah.
And it wasn't, you're absolutely right, it wasn't to say anything against your mother and father. I was not a perfect parent myself. And the disruptor in the family, that's what I call you, the best disruptor. There's always one in the family that wants to say, wait, it's got to stop. It's got to stop with me. You're that in your family. You're that in your family. I'm that in my family. The problem is when there isn't that disruptor, or the disruptor has to leave the family, or there's revisionist history in a family where everybody goes, no, that didn't really happen. I oftentimes say to parents, if your child told you that something happened to them when they were kids and you did it, just say you're sorry. Don't argue with it because it's true. And the worst part of all of this is you are at risk of doing to yourself and others what was done to you. I mean, think about that.
I have a question about that. Why is it that some people, there's like two routes. When a kid is traumatized, he either passes on that trauma or completely goes the opposite direction. Like, okay, for example, if somebody is physically abused, a lot of times people then go on to physically abuse their own kids.
Right. Not all of them.
But also a lot of times people make a complete 180 and then not only don't abuse their kids, but tend to do work against that and like, you know, join groups to help people that are physically abused. What's the shifting point for people?
So, you know, we'd love to know that. And we talk about resiliency in terms of where does that come from? Why are we all sitting here, us four, wanting to know, right? And yet my family's not here. So I would say that we're not quite sure. What we do know is if you have one person in your life that will help you uncover that, if you have even one person that helps you get through those difficult times, you are better apt to be able to find it later in life. That's your story, right? That's your story, James.
Absolutely.
That at least somebody was there. That's my story. Somebody was there to do it. And I think ultimately it's whether or not you're going to take responsibility to create the person you deserve to be in the life you deserve to live. I had to do that too. I had to finally say, okay, a lot of shit happened to me. And I'm either going to continue to do that to myself and others, or I'm going to stop. It stops with me.
Yeah.
And then you do the hard work, like you said. And you do it until it becomes absolutely who you are at that moment.
Yeah.
I will say one other thing. I ran my life as you were, Jake, running our lives on our thoughts and feelings, right? And that determined our actions. So once I realized that my thoughts and feelings came from a whole bunch of fucking shit that I had nothing to do with, and it wasn't helping me, and I was hurting other people, including myself, I decided I had to base my life on something else. And what I based it on were principles. You and I had conversations about principles. Like, okay, what is it that I can actually decide? We had a conversation today about accountability, like helping out and picking up shit that's not yours, right? Or picking up your own shit first and then helping out. And I found principles to be the things that I wanted. I was running my life on my personality, which I have a lot of, but it wasn't necessarily helping me. So I make decisions now based on honesty, integrity, and kindness. Now, I don't always feel kind. I can be an asshole. I'm from Massachusetts. We call ourselves massholes. I love that, right? I'm half Italian. I mean, I said to you guys earlier, I know how to make cement and I know where the river is. So I still don't always think.
She will kill someone.
I will. If I have, I had 2 instances where I almost did, and thank God I didn't. Anyway, the point being is that
Anyway.
But I think that's actually good to bring up because you've become one of the most amazing women that I know, but I think it didn't start there.
No.
And I think many people would like meet you and be like, oh, this is amazing. No, like you had to go through the fire to and work, like you said, to get to this point.